So I get asked quite often, actually, to make a video going over my spider team. I have a 10-second spider team that's a little bit obnoxious, if I'm going to be honest. Um, and there are other ways to kind of build a team like this. So as I go through and talk about my own champs, I'll talk about some substitutes because obviously this is not so much of a guide as much as me just kind of, I don't know, appeasing a request that I get pretty often to make a video showcasing my actual team. So we'll try to make this as educational as possible while we kind of observe the meme that is my spider team. I also have a few more videos going over spider where Drock can kind of step in from his created monster and carry some teams that I actually didn't think he would be able to carry in there. So Drock can be great if you don't have a monster. Monster, of course, is great. I've got a few other guides on spider. So again, this I'm going to try to make this as educational as I can, but it's really just kind of a meme of a team. So what we have here is Bad L, and I have Bad L in there for his passive because he allows the whole team to do more damage to targets under poison. And then he also puts up poisons with his first turn. That's what he does. I have him built this way too because I also run him sometimes in Dragon. I do the solo dragon strat sometimes overnight where he levels up food while he farms dragon because built like this he can farm dragon 20 alone. In a perfect world he would be a little bit faster, but between the stalwart gear, the immortal set, he's fast enough. He never fails a run, so that's why he's built like this. He happens to fit into the role that I need him to fit into in the spider team. Gurp Tuck is also not a bad option here. He's got the passive that allows it's a little bit of a different mechanic, but ultimately the same result, more damage because there's poisons involved. So Gurp Tuck could step in for something like this too. And then Draco, of course, any AoE, I'm sorry, it doesn't have to be AoE. Any defense down or weaken for something like this is going to be good. Rosin's tough because he's off affinity, so he's going to weak hit a lot. But Draco, Lydia, Bellinor, I think Spider has a decent enough one. Now, if I ever pull a Ghostborn, I'll probably put him in this spot and work around not having the weaken because sometimes Draco won't land one or the other. And with the way everything's set up right now, particularly the defense down, if he lands the defense down, we can still be okay. If he only lands the weaken and not the defense down, then we're not going to win the run. So I would put a Ghostborn in here for the guaranteed defense break, and then work my damage into a way where there's no way they wouldn't win. So that's the ultimate plan. But for now, it's Draco. Sometimes the run takes a little bit longer too because he will relentless proc. I also use him in my Bat Eater, and so sometimes he'll take an extra turn or two, which adds a few seconds to the run. But for the most part, it's pretty smooth. And then I run triple Septimus for my damage dealers. Now, again, when I get a Ghostborn, I may build a fourth Septimus just for the meme, but this is memey enough as it is. Again, any good max HP nuker here. Royal Guard is very popular. Cold Heart is popular. The problem with Cold Heart is you have to target the spider or have her go twice before the spiderlings start going because she's going to start with her A2. She is on a list of AI changes they're making soon, so hopefully they fix her to do her A3 first, and that won't be an issue anymore. But any good max HP nuker fits into these spots. I'm just using triple Septimus again for the meme. So this one I've got on I've got on 2 crit damage sets and then just random pieces. And again, just get him fast enough to go before the enemies and crit damage, crit rate as high as you can get him. Attack is nice to have, but it's not necessary because he is a max HP nuker. So more of his damage will come from that. And I run Flawless Execution on him. This is what it looks like. He is set up specifically to do big first hit damage. This is kind of the way you want to go for anybody that you're looking for good first hit damage, right? We've got more damage when attacking with full HP. We've got more damage inflicted by the first hit on each enemy. We've got more damage on targets with higher max HP, right? The other trees don't really particularly matter here. And you'll see it's the same setup on all 3 of my my Septimi. He's on double crit rate and crit damage, and he is on just a bunch of random pieces. Crit damage, cruel, and then 2 stalwart, because that's what happened to fit in there. But again, make them fast enough to go first, and then shoot their crit rate and crit damage up. Now, another nice thing that Bad L brings here, we don't need it, except for him, he needs it a little bit. But Bad L has a good crit rate lead, so that can, if you're going to build a team with Bad L specifically, and you know it's going to be your permanent team, and you're only using your nukers for this, you can you can be aware when you're building of that gap you have in crit rate, which will allow you to get a lot more crit damage. If you don't have to focus crit rate so hard, it opens up the door for the crit damage, right? So that's the thought process behind the team. Now, again, max HP nukers, any AoE defense down / weaken is good. You can get away with it being a defense break if you've got the nukers, and then like a Bad L or a Gerp Tuck for the extra bonus damage from the poisons. And then real quick, if you want to see their masteries, this is what we got going on for Bad L and Draco. Again, they're built specifically for other things, but they slot into here well. And that's it. The only problem we ever really run into. Okay. Wow. The only problem we ever really run into here is occasionally Draco will miss both or one or the other of his debuffs. I have tried getting him or someone like him to, 400, 500 accuracy. They're still just going to miss sometimes. It's just going to happen sometimes. Now, also, the 10-second thing, I could probably tweak my Septimus, one of them, to do a little bit more damage, and it would always be 10 seconds, but there's a pretty wide range in the damage output in this game. The multiplier, whatever the equation is for damage output, there seems to be a pretty big range for it. So sometimes we get a 2-hit kill, sometimes we need that 3rd hit, but it's a 10 to 12 second team, and this is what they look like in action. So yeah, that's it. It's not there's not really much to it. It's more of a meme than anything else, but it is effective. And there are a lot of other ways to come at building this. So if you've got max HP nukers laying around or anything like that, that they can be good for this. And again, I've got other guides for, the max HP burn strat with Drock, and a couple of different ways you can take Drock in there and be effective. So there's a lot of ways to solve this dungeon, solve this problem now. It didn't used to be this way. It used to kind of be you had to have the Cold Hearts and the Royal Guards. The game is opening up quite a bit these days, so there's a lot more ways to do it. So maybe some of those other videos can help you. But either way, hopefully you got a kick out of this. Hopefully this scratches the itch for everybody that's been asking me to do a video on my spider team. And, if you have any questions, drop them below. I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have about your spider team. And that's it. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you have a good one, and we'll see you later.